ask the first question to the audience is, how does cloud present a new opportunity for resellers? So a lot of the folks here want to figure out what are they going to use, how are they going to deliver it. So how does the cloud provide a new opportunity? If we had some discussions about it earlier, now we're going to talk specifically with what your experience is and with what OpenStack can do. So, you want to go? Who wants to go first? Whoever has the mic, right? No.
Hello. I think the opportunity for cloud computing is that the cloud itself already provides a lot of infrastructure services inside. So the customer doesn't need to build up the entire infrastructure. It's an opportunity for the reseller to sell their cloud infrastructure for cloud services to them.
Okay.
Yeah, my company is involved in selling DPaaS development as a platform. The company is called LabNet. So we built up a big commercial enterprise for this company like our platform as a development service for all the enterprise application. So there is a lot of opportunity for cloud computing and application, which you see that.
Companies using this opportunity to sell to companies like Deutsche Bank, you said?
Yes, the company is called LabNet.
Okay. Oh, so you are selling to Deutsche Bank. That is the opportunity you have.
Yes.
And now Deutsche Bank is your customer.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
So Clear Manage is basically we provide infrastructure cloud as a service, or we are also launching some other form of cloud services. We have been primarily in the government space, but we have taken this experience and we are trying to encourage others in the infrastructure to sell to their customers. So we are sort of opening up some additional opportunity for system integrators, small ones, that they can sell to their customers. So definitely there's a lot of opportunity for them as well. So other than the current suite of cloud provider out there, there will be more opportunity for the players to resell.
You can answer the next question first now that you have the microphone in your hand. So now the other question which I had was, set all these up. What are the challenges that you have in setting up a cloud application? So once you have got a customer, now you have to set it up. What are the challenges you face on the cloud application?
The current challenges that we face is because we deal mainly with government customers, so the application has to be a bit more traditional. Okay. So it's still being deployed the old way, so it's not very agile, it's not very fast, there's no continuous improvement. It's still the traditional way. So it takes a lot of manpower from our side to assist our customers to deploy that. So that is our challenge.
So the thing is, you're specifically talking about government customers and the culture that they have, and how they are not adopting what cloud will offer them, or they're not.
It may not be a case of they are not adopting, but perhaps their processes is not tuned to agile.
Okay, they're not really getting agile and using that. Okay, so the real benefit is, this is a good point for the real value you get is agility. But if you don't use it right, you're not getting the agility.
Correct. So you can apply to the enterprise space. The price is a bit more rigid, more traditional. Okay. And their internal process, their approval process workflows doesn't fit the new paradigm. We'll have a problem with the deployment as well. Okay.
So go ahead. So what are the challenges you have in setting up the application once you've got it done?
Yeah, I think for my space, we don't see a lot of challenge in that because we are providing a platform for your development. So I think the only concern is on the security. Okay. So I think most of the kickback is on how secure is your platform, and can you get approval to deploy in your
how about the application and how to the application integrate with legacy of application system, for example, like LDAP server, for example.
Okay, so integrating with the legacy system is a challenge for customers who use it.
Yes, because like from my mobile banking, their concern most of the time is the security. Okay. Then the customer will ask you how to be more
how
secure.
do you train a group of people now using the cloud implementation, right?
Okay.
For my case, let's talk about the more on the commercial side.
Okay.
The challenge I agree will be the security. If we are talking about selling to SMEs, right, I think security is still not that bad. But if you sell the enterprise, they do have their own set of security practices. You have to find a way to meet that, and not all cloud applications can meet that kind of challenge, I guess.
Not all cloud applications can meet that challenge of the security so I'm hearing a lot of security, and I want the audience to, help in what are you seeing? Are you seeing the same issues?
Already has a part of stack which has been deployed in an existing system, existing in-house system, or a set of servers, and they want to adopt something like it's hosted on cloud. They want to be able to use single sign-on and all of those kind of advantages which they have deployed using their own LDAP mechanism to be able to move here, so that they don't have to issue duplicate IDs or manage the users. If the people have moved out, they can delete instances of their account. What we have also seen with a lot of enterprises is while they have started adopting towards cloud applications, their processes internally have not been adopted. So what happens is, even though they get the advantages of being on the cloud from a development perspective or a deployment perspective, their processes are still so cumbersome that their advantages are just vanished away.
Let me ask you that. So how are you going to try to help them overcome that? I want to ask you a follow-up on that.
They have to be silenced.
No, but if it is a commercial, let's just put yourself in a commercial environment, and for commercial, or the others who may be reaching out to more of the commercial organization than a government. How would you help an enterprise overcome that? Is it education? Is it change in process? Is it?
I guess it's a little bit of everything. Start with small change process.
Okay.
Small application that maybe not as critical, to slowly switch them to the dark side. And,
okay.
Bring them more darker.
Yeah. So what are any thoughts on your end on getting enterprises to overcome those barriers?
Our experience is the same. Start with small projects.
Start with small projects.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't do a big bang.
Okay.
It will not happen.
Okay. Anything on your end? Or,
From my experience, I would say to change our process by using scripting and also some software, for example.
For those two parts, you go really innovate in some ways, and you recognize that, and you say, hey, I'm going to start delivering new enterprises. And I think that because if you are going and allowing them to now gain a whole new market-changing view of saying, I am going to be able to now come up with products that I was never able to do, because I'm now doing some mobile application or doing some analytics with big data and things that
we were having this conversation in the car over here, where we were talking, well, actually today at lunch, and in the car, about how there's a lot of big companies out there who are not jumping in the cloud. Now, maybe they are for small projects, but think about a really big company who has a really important application running on servers that they already invested in. What is their motivation for moving to the cloud? Not a whole lot. Move to the cloud. It doesn't make sense. There are still companies today who make their own power. Okay? When there's public utilities out there. In their case, it makes sense. They have a need that makes sense to not use the public, power grid. Okay, so and utility power has been around for 100 years or something. So the point is that we're going to see traditional applications running on traditional hardware for a long time, but I doubt you will see a lot of new applications run on traditional systems. Most likely what will happen is we'll start seeing private cloud developed, and we'll see new applications being created on top of the public or the private cloud. So it'll come slowly for some enterprises, but it will come. Because, as I said before, this is really inevitable. There's too much value for it not to evolve and become for the enterprise. It just might take a while.
About innovative new capabilities, you still have to integrate with the 50 years, 40 years, 30 years of applications you develop. So I want to ask all of you, what do you see of integration? In multiple ways. It may be just an application integration. It could be coexistence. It could be security integration. And what are you seeing in the customers that say you've got some things in the public cloud, and hybrid cloud is becoming a very popular topic because you've got some in private, some in public. How do you integrate that? Are you all seeing any issues that customers are facing? I run some workloads in my private, and when I need to burst, I go up and I burst to the cloud. The other integration is, just the LDAP integration that you talked about. And the third type of integration is saying, I'm going to keep some data private and some public, and I still need to integrate that in a more popular coming up. Are those as solutions coming up, or anybody from the audience, want to pick up and talk about integration and how are companies doing that integration from private to public, creating a hybrid environment, or just taking workloads and moving them from private to public? Or on the other hand, I see folks using the public cloud as a backup strategy, that if my servers go down inside my firewall, I'm going to bring them up and run them. So with virtual private cloud, you're talking about security not being as much of an issue. You guys have any thoughts on that, on the virtual private clouds, on what people are doing there? Because you're just basically taking your private cloud and expanding it and exploding it.
Like some of the security requirements for best practices. So some of the cloud application or application that it moves to the cloud, but they still want to keep to certain security rules. We use a VPN to connect them. So we've got a integration in that sense here. So that's how we do that.
And that does comply.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a good way to start.
Of course, compliance is different level of compliance. So if you go on with the government type of compliance, that doesn't consider compliance. But for commercial side, I think it's still.
So let's go to a couple more questions. How are users going to get access to the application? That was one of the questions I had. How are they going to access it? Are you going to give them a total self-service? That each one is going to do. You're having a catalog. What are you going to do? How are you going to, once you create an application, sell it to an enterprise, how are users going to get access to that?
What they mentioned just now, there needs to be some form of self-service that they can access to do things.
Okay.
At least check what's their usage like, get a report, stop some services. If it's infrastructure related, if it's application related, just look at how much they can consume. Make sure that the provider isn't charging them more than what they are using.
Okay.
Yeah, for our application, we use Clicker. So our access is through Clicker.
To what?
Clicker.
Clicker. Okay.
You know CLI?
Yes, CLIQR. Yes.
I think to get access to the application, usually like Salesforce.com, you just use a browser. And on top of the application, integrate with the security system,
Which they have,
so that enable the user to have access.
What are you doing to enable the comfort of enterprises that my application is secure enough, to reach out and say, how do I approach that?
It's designed to help a cloud service provider to meet more stringent security standard. SS54 is very similar to ISO 27001. So with that, we hope that this will give the customers and the market more confident in the type of cloud service that we provide.
Okay.
Proper security practices and processes and all the infrastructure required for such a setup is there. So it will help.
I think.
So we publish our security standard. It's just based on our cloud provider, so HP Cloud. So we don't do our own security in the sense.
Okay. So you use whatever the cloud service provider, you're getting it from the infrastructure center.
The security standard will get access to the cloud.
Businesses from your hackers who live out of their mom's basement, or are we talking about like government spying here?
So what are you protecting them from? That's because a lot of the cloud service providers will not take that. That is your problem to get out, stay away from the hackers, etc. The end users, because you are controlling. It's your data. You're using the cloud service provider's infrastructure. You set the policies. You set the rules, and you have to control that within the enterprise. I don't really see that as a cloud service providers, unless they are doing that part of the business, unless they are actually providing that security as a service. In the most part, as an application developer, you are supposed to create the appropriate standards that will stop anybody from breaking into the system.
Protection, but of course, the code itself still need to be secured itself as well, so that when it runs on the system, it complements each other. No amount of security certification can prevent a very determined hacker from trying to hack the system.
Okay.
We can only mitigate to a certain extent.
Provider, they have so many security people, and they're constantly getting updated with what is happening right now. So in a lot of ways, I perceive that getting security provided by a good cloud service provider is better than having your own team, develop the necessary measures to keep the system secure.
And if you have a service provider that has some form of security standard in place, the confidence level will work. And
Yes.
also what kind of additional security solution services they can provide on top of the normal
security.
Additional
Yes.
software, better protection,
Yes.
track monitoring services.
And I'll just give you a recent example, at least, of what happened to Target in the US. They lost 70 million credit card information, and that was all on-premise. There was nothing to do with it.
So this is the type that you need. My partner will be very careful. Have this sort of advanced persistent threat solution that helps you to mitigate or to look at what are the known and unknown threats inside outside.
Yes. Okay.
Discussion, in my opinion, really shouldn't be about cloud and security. It really should be about security as one topic, and cloud as a separate topic. Meaning,
Yes.
whether it's cloud or not, you still have to do security.
Agree.
Very good point. That's a good point. And the security belongs to the application owners and whoever, whether it's on-premise or on cloud.
Application as well as infrastructure.
Infrastructure. Covered security, covered integration, covered a lot of enterprise cloud adoption. Let's give us a hand for the panel. With that, let's go to the next session.